What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Chris, as always with me.
Awkward, sickly Liam.
Sickly, awkward Liam today. We are diving into Apple TV's Bad Monkey, episodes 3 and 4. What's going on with the relationship between Yancey and Rosa? What just happened with Neville? Is the magic really working? We get more of the backstory for the shady scam and how they ended up getting together, the evil couple. And we get some more interesting storyline that really brings some of it what we saw in the beginning all together. So excited to dive into it all. Let's do it, brother.
He's not dead.
What a twist, right? That was interesting. I honestly thought that she was about to die. Like she was about to get bullet to the back of the head or strangled or like a bag over her head. You know, something along those lines where the daughter was about to get killed. And then for a twist to be like, oh, hey, daddy. I was like, what? It isn't a boyfriend. It's just the same dude.
You could say it was a reach.
Bad arm jokes going all day. Let's go. Yeah, so we get a lot more of the backstory as Yancy, our main character, Mr. Vince Vaughn, travels to Miami to do some more investigating, to figure out what's really going on. He's got this suspicion that the main character, what's the woman's name? I'm drawing a blank.
Main character.
The blonde, the evil one.
No, you're asking me for names?
Let us know in the comments.
The dumb actress.
The one who can't cry?
Until the end of episode 4.
We'll get there for sure. We're in Miami and we're investigating whether or not she killed her husband. Yancy believes she did. He finds out that the case is going to be ruled an accidental accident. He's not going to let that sit idly. So he goes to the daughter's house and basically guilts her into being like, how dare you just kind of give in for the money and not let this go. You know she did it. Which leads her to go to the house and call her out, which is when I thought she was going to get killed. And then we get the huge twist that Christopher is actually Nick all along. He meets her at a bar. She's a failed actress. He instantly falls in love with her and does anything that she says, to the point that he thinks he's going to lose her. He decides it's a good idea to cut off his own arm.
That's wild.
The character, to me, he's a con man. So
Who got conned?
Who got conned by a blonde that is also a con woman.
It makes sense because as marketers, the more we understand the psychology of selling, the more susceptible we are to it. So it stands to reason that would be the same in this.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely. So we get their backstory, their Ponzi scheme, him and the doctor selling fake prescriptions for wheelie carts, and they're bankrolling themselves that way, but then come under investigation and the whole thing falls apart, which is why he decides to cut off his arm. Doctor partner starts going down the addiction path. We meet him in a hotel room in his bathrobe. What a crazy role from the doctor in Scrubs that he plays to now this drugged out, washed up scam artist doctor that he plays in this role. It's like night and day. What do you think?
First thought was, holy shit, he looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
When I saw him. But then when they did the flashback, he looked all cleaned up and he looked normal again.
Well, yeah.
I honestly just haven't seen him in a long time, so I didn't know if he was really in that state or not.
So you thought maybe he wasn't acting? Like that was actually what he was like?
No.
He went down a deep dark hole and they
Like he
casted
just
him?
didn't age well.
Oh, no, yeah. They made him look like he was very drugged up.
They did a good job of that. He went on a hyper fast decline. It's like time lapse of someone who actually went through that stuff, but just in a very quick time in an episode. I thought that was extremely fascinating. I've seen a lot of people go down that road. Obviously not as fast as they did in the show.
I thought it was interesting, the dynamic, because when he first starts popping the pills, Nick, the partner there, when it cuts his arm off, he's like, you don't really want to do that. You don't need those. And then you fast forward to right after they cut his arm off and they're sitting outside and the blonde is basically like helping him with his addiction. Like, oh yeah, take more, you're good. And then later in the timeline, she's like, oh yeah, I'll make sure you have an Oxy on your pillow if you come to Andros every day. So it's like she was kind of enabling it and forcing it down that path where he was almost like trying to protect his friend.
I agree, very much so. The whole thing with him and the morgue chick, I knew it was going to come. I was disappointed it came so fast.
Yeah, the relationship when they were in Miami together, working together, you could tell there was a lot more tension. There was a scene where they're standing outside and staring at each other. I thought they were about to kiss, and then Yancey's phone goes off and it breaks it. Later, she's investigating Yancy. She talks to the old cop that she knows about him. She goes and talks to her sister about it. She's trying to figure out whether or not this is a good idea, but ultimately goes for it. The way she goes for it was very interesting. Yancy's like, you probably should go somewhere. Let's go.
To me, I think of it as most people wouldn't eat in the morgue, right? But as someone who works a coroner, they eat in the morgue daily, so it's just normal for them.
Yeah.
So why would anything else be off limits that would be normal in another setting?
Listen, it made for good TV, right? I don't know how many people are doing that in real life, but it made for good TV, right?
Slammed on a slab.
She literally locked the door mid-work day. You heard people walking down the hallway, maybe late at night when no one was there, kind of get away with it. But anyway, it made for good TV. It made for a good scene. They like each other, but will it last? Will it keep going? Because both of them, he's a ticking time bomb. He tells her that all the time. And she doesn't necessarily make the best decisions, hence why she chose to even go on these adventures with him. So will it last? We'll see.
But she wasted the pop.
Very upset. Could have done some fun things with those popsicles.
That's the road we're going down.
Maybe not. But so Neville also has to be, he's in Miami, which is, where we left off on the last episode. He's there trying to get the money from his sister. His sister sold the house out from underneath him, so he at least wants his cut. I thought it was interesting how the writers tied Neville into Yancey's story. Now, Neville owes Yancy a favor. Yancy was like, I won't write up the monkey as long as he's not here, and you owe me. I'm sure that eventually that's gonna have some sort of, like, they're connected now. And they're also battling the same bad guy. So the enemy of my enemy, right, becomes my friend.
Oh, I don't think they're enemies per se. It's just going to come up later on.
Yeah. So maybe common enemy is really what I'm trying to say. Then I want to see where that goes. And then also, he gave up his monkey.
He did.
He gave up his monkey. What do you think about that?
He's going to regret it, and I think he's going to get it back.
Do you think the monkey's going to run away and come back to him, or?
I'm learning in this series, just being 4 episodes in, that I have no idea what direction they're going to go.
Yeah.
When you think you got it locked down, they change it on you, which is awesome. It's not often we get a show where it's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming.
You know what I think is fun is the banter between the real estate neighbor and Yancy, and how he takes whatever's going on in his day and throws that in as the reason why they shouldn't buy. Right, he's like, oh yeah, the wild dogs. Like, check out this bite, and he got the bite from running away from security earlier that day. I just think it's an interesting way he's always messing with that guy.
It's just like marketing, though, right? Same thing. And the way we live our lives, good
marketing is storytelling, and storytelling is pulled from inspiration from one's life. So yes, I agree.
But it also goes to show the relationship people have in their day-to-day lives. So if you're having a bad day, you tend to act out against other people and assume the worst. If you're having a good day and someone says something slightly off that could be taken one of 2 ways, you may take it the better way because you're having a better day.
Oh, yeah.
So your day is influencing everything you do, and I think that was a clever way of showing it here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The relationship with the partner, I thought that was really cool, the backstory there. Didn't realize he was married before. He went through that whole journey with him where he's like, yeah, you came out to me, glad that you came out, you're out in the open, and also, I thought you'd be happy.
I just like Vince Vaughn humor. You got what you wanted and you're still not happy, damn it. Why don't you try being happy for once? Yeah, no, that's cool. I like that we got more backstory on everybody, right? So it starts off with more of the scam and more learning about how our villains meet, right? Mm-hmm. But then you also get Bonnie and how Bonnie got introduced to Yancy, right? Because that same scene where Ro and Yancy are sitting in the bar talking about, you should be happy you got what you wanted. You're no longer married to a woman. You have this man who loves you. You got to meet his kids. Like, you're on this path of greatness and you're still bitter and cynical. And then he walks away to get another scoop of ice cream, and that's when Bonnie comes in for the first time. And so it was interesting to see the bad decision in the orange dress is what the narrator calls her. And I thought that was really cool to see, why did Yancy drive this guy off, like hit him with his car and drive him into the river or whatever he did? And we found out it's because the dude hit her. And Yancy doesn't stand for injustices like that. He has a very strange and strict moral code that he lives by in a very odd way. And so he just couldn't let that stand. Whether he was in love with her or not, he just couldn't let that go by.
I wanted him to do more to the guy after that.
When he started to lose his job, along his weird moral thing that he does, he pulls the mailbox out of that cop that got him fired. Every time he drives by his house, just throws it on his lawn.
A minor inconvenience that drives the person crazy.
Yeah.
We learned the whole story on the whole bickering between them too.
Well, yeah, he's a dirty cop.
Dirty, yeah.
Dirty cop. Getting all his family paid, yeah. And then he still makes detective in episode 4, which I thought was fun.
I like how his partner called him out on it, and that's how they left that part.
Oh, how'd you get that tip? Your tip line? Or how'd you get tip line? Yeah, that's fun.
He's like, fuck you.
And so I thought that, episode 3, we got to see more of the Rosa and Yancey relationship build. We got to see more of how the dynamics in the story are coming together because they're all in Miami trying to figure some things out. Even the villains are back in Miami working with figuring out what's going on with the daughter, and then ultimately ending the life of the partner. And then that's kind of a crazy thing too, right, that we should probably talk about. He kills his best friend.
So before you get to that, I want to address the fact that the villain guy with the mustache, he is a con man.
Yep.
But at the same time, before the evil blonde, he was relatively good.
Both of those guys had kind hearts. Like, they were
Yes.
good-hearted con men. I mean, still con men, but they weren't evil trying to kill people.
Yeah.
Right.
They were looking for the easy way out.
Her name was Eve. I had to look it up.
Eve.
Yeah.
Okay. But his relationship with his daughter got ruined because of, thank you for looking up, Eve. So now he is put in a situation where he's literally has to choose between the person he's cut his arm off for and his daughter.
But ultimately, based on the guy that's actually mutilating his own body, we know his decision, who he chose, right? He chose Eve.
I've got a feeling that's not going to be where it stands, though.
You think, well, right now, as it stands, he has totally chose her. But you think that maybe the guilt of turning his back on his daughter will eventually change his mind?
Killing his best friend was the pivotal piece.
It destroyed him.
Yes.
You saw it there in the parking garage.
That's the first time he broke his unquestioning love and loyalty to her.
Yeah.
He questioned it.
And then she goes all fucking psycho and kills Heather from the weather.
That was funny.
It
But
was a comical murder scene for sure.
Good for the Morgue chick's sister, though.
Yeah. She
First live appearance.
Well, she actually starts talking shit about her too while she's on the air. And then she ends up being dead.
The anchor is just like, the fuck happened here?
So he kills his best friend. Heather from the weather gets killed. And it's kind of like they're in this downward spiral, just trying to basically save their own asses now, or their tracks. Even though he's not a detective, he's a food cop. He's doing everything in his power to pursue them and bring them to justice and bring light to what's going on, which is kind of interesting. And then we have the big cliffhanger, which is going to be what we talk about on the next episode, because we don't know what happens yet. But I highly doubt our main character is dead, but that is exactly what they want us to believe as episode 4 ends. And Yancey's talking on the phone, letting them know Nick is Christopher, they're the same person. We're going to bring this to light. And then all of a sudden, boom, knocked out. And so what do you think? Is he dead? Is he not dead? What's going to happen?
That's one thing I can safely assume is he is not dead. He is the star of the show.
Main character.
That's a real...
So is he being kidnapped? Are they just trying to teach him a lesson? What do you think?
I think there's going to be an unexpected twist. Like, seriously, know how to approach him or something like that. And so they're just going to have a conversation with him. That's my guess.
Okay. Try to scare him into leaving him alone?
Figuring out a way out of it.
Yeah, because I don't think they'll be able to bribe. They can't bribe him, right? They're not going to be able to buy him. So they would have to either get dirt on him, threaten... Well, he doesn't really have anything that he has his dad, and he has Rosa. That's really it. And then the partner. But he doesn't really have much in his life that one could leverage over him, like a kid, where he could be like, I'll kill your kid if you don't stop investigating me.
I think he is so rigid, even though he's willing to destroy his own life over the right decision. I don't think he would do that for someone else. I think he would break his moral compass to help someone else. And he's proven it quite a few times. Like, The small little illegal things that he does proves that the end justifies the means when they break his moral code.
Yeah, it's true.
He can be just as bad or ruthless, maybe in a kinder way, but as the bad guys in this show.
Oh, he's
I'm seeing that more and more.
Yeah, we've definitely seen him break some laws in the service of doing what's right for him and the situation they're in. We got a lot more backstory, which was great. We're now completely filled in with why he had to cut his arm off, why he pretended to be dead, why they're buying up all this land in Andros. Like, what's the real thing going on? I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm excited. Like you said, there's so many twists and turns. When you think you know what's happening, it twists on you. This has been great. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comments too.
I am at a loss for which direction he could ever go in at this point.
Yeah.
And I did think that the conspiracy for the whole island project was like a cartel or something high-level major players type stuff, when it's just this con couple.
Yeah, blonde, bad actress who's on a beach being like, this is where the entrance is going to be. This is where these are going to be. She's like planning it all out with them on the beach. Yeah, not some high-level mob or cartel or organized crime of any kind.
Oh, before I forget, is that old fisherman his father?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure, because I don't think they outright ever said it.
No, he calls him dad.
I missed that part.
So when, do you remember the manatee scene? Like, it's pretty iconic where he's like, the manatee spoke to me and told me to follow it and let it go.
Talks about sexual relations with it.
Yeah, he's like, I've always wanted to ask you this question, Dad. Have you ever had sex with a manatee? So that's his dad, and his dad lives down in the Keys.
Found that out.
Right. You don't meet his dad until he loses his job in Miami first, and then he gets sent down to the Keys. And then it's in the Keys where he meets Bonnie, drives the dude into the water, and then loses detective. Right, so he's on quite a downward spiral himself. He's on this demotion tour, basically. How many times can I get demoted and eventually just be like a food cop, right?
He got a new car, though.
So it's, what did he say? I'm too big. I'm gonna, like, my knees will be in my chest. At least the AC will be close.
Be closer.
Yeah, I mean, his banter is probably one of my favorite parts of the show, because I think Vince Vaughn and the way he never shuts up and constantly has that banter is really funny.
What's coming next? Do you guys have any guesses? I'd love to hear some of y'all guesses too.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know down in the comments. If you guys have not already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That's the first step for you to be able to win the $50 gift card this month. The second step would be just comment below. What was your biggest takeaway? Let us know. What did you think of episodes 3 and 4? Are you enjoying Bad Monkey? Are you excited to see where it goes? Are you also a fan of Vince Vaughn, or do you more like Liam and think he's sometimes funny? Let us know. If you guys are big fans of awesome series, you should check out The Rings of Power. It's our most watched series review. We just did season 2, and there are thousands of views on those videos. People are loving them. I know you will too. But if Rings of Power isn't your thing, we also have a bunch of Netflix series that we review. We have a whole playlist for Netflix as well. You can check those out. Until then, we'll see you on those videos. Go ahead, awkward man. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Peace.
Find the strength hiding in each battle scar. You're not who you were, you've already come far.